Welcome students. The topic we are going to discuss is data mining task. Data mining deals with the patterns that can be mined. It is categorized into two functions. The first one is descriptive function and the second one is classification and prediction function. The general properties of the data in the database can be characterized by descriptive functions, while the inference of the current data is to make prediction is performed by predictive functions. Descriptive data mining functions on finding patterns describing the data that can be explained by humans and constructs new non-trivial information based on the available data set. Predictive data mining uses some variables or fields in the data set to predict familiar or future values of the other variables, and it produces the model of the system classified by the given data set. The goal of prediction data mining is to produce a model. It can be used to perform tasks such as classification, prediction or evaluation, while the descriptive data mining is to get an understanding of the examined system by uncovering the patterns and relationship in the large data sets. The main aim of descriptive data mining model is to find patterns in the data and to know the relationship between attributes represented by the data, while the aim of predictive data mining model is to predict the upcoming outcomes based on the records with known answers. The data mining task of generating models is further divided into the following two approaches. The first approach is supervised or directed data mining, and the second approach is unsupervised or undirected data mining modeling. The objective in supervised or direct data mining is used for the available data to build a model that describes the one specific variable of interest in terms of the available data. This task is to explain the values of some specific field. The user selects the target field and directs the computer to determine how to evaluate and to classify or predict the value. In unsupervised or undirected data mining, the variable is signed out as the target. The main goals of predictive and descriptive data mining are achieved by particular data mining techniques that fall in certain primary data mining tasks. It establishes some relationship between all the variables in the data. The user asks the computer to recognize the patterns in the data that can be significant. Undirected modeling is used to explain the patterns and connection they have been found. Let us see what is a descriptive function. The descriptive function deals with the properties of data in the database. The list of descriptive functions are class or concept, mining of frequent patterns, mining of associations, mining of correlations, and the last one is mining of clusters. Let us see the first concept, class or concept description. It deals with the data to be related with the classes or concepts. For instance, in a company, the classes of data for sales consist of computers and printers, and ID of users include big spenders and budget spenders. The description of a class or a concept are called as class concept descriptions. The descriptions can be derived by following two ways. The first way is data categorization, which means the summarizing data of class under study is referred. This is called as target class. The second one is data discrimination. This is the mapping or categorization of a class with some defined group or class. The second concept is mining of frequent patterns. The patterns that occur frequently in a transactional data are called as frequent patterns. The list of frequent patterns are frequent item set, a set of data that frequently appear together, for instance milk and bread. The second one is frequent subsequence, a sequence of patterns that occur frequently, for instance purchasing a camera is followed by a memory card. The third one is frequent substructure. It refers to different structural forms such as graph, trees or lattices which can be grouped with the item sets or subsequences. The next topic is mining of association. Associations are used in retail sales to discover patterns that are repeatedly purchased together. It refers to the process of uncovering the connection between the data and determining the association rules. An instance of association rule mining deals with the relationship between diaper and beers. It insists that men who went to a store to buy diapers are also like to buy a beer. Let us see an example. A supermarket has 2,50,000 customer transaction. About 5,000 transactions or about 2% of total transactions include the purchase of diapers. About 6,500 transactions include the purchase of beer. Of those about 4,500 transactions, only 1.75% include both the purchase of diapers and beer. Based on the percentages, the number should much lower. The fact that about 87.9% of diaper purchases include the purchase of beer indicates a connection between diaper and a beer. The next concept is mining of correlations. It is a key element of additional analysis implemented to uncover interesting statistical correlations between associated attribute value or connecting two data sets to study that if they have positive, negative or no effect on each other. The next concept is mining of clusters. Cluster deals to a group of related kinds of items. Cluster analysis refers to form set of items that are related to each other but are different from the objects in other clusters. The next concept is classification and prediction. Classification requires the knowledge of a predictive learning function that classifies a data item into one of various predefined classes. It involves the new features presented to the object and assigning to a predefined class. The two-step process of defining a classifications are: the first one is a model, which is used to performing a predetermined group of data classes and concepts, and the second one is the type which is used for classification. Prediction is viewed as the construction and used to as a model to assess the category of an unlabeled sample or assess the value or value range of an attribute that a given sample is probably like to have. This technique used for classification may be adapted for use in prediction by using training instance where the value of an variable predictor is already known, along with the historical information for that examples. The classification is the process of searching a model that performs the data classes or the concepts. The main objective is able to use this type of predict that classes of items whose class label is unknown. It is based on the analysis of groups of training data. The following forms can be presented by the derived models are: the first one is classification rules, then second one is decision trees, the third one is mathematical formulae, and the fourth one is neural networks. The functions involved in these processes are as follows. The first one is classification. It predicts the class of items when the class label is unknown. Its aim is to know a derived model that describes and differentiates data classes or concepts. The derived model deals with the analysis group of training data where the data object's class label is well known. The second one is prediction. It is used to predict missing or unavailable numerical data values instead of category labels. Prediction generally uses regression analysis. Prediction may also use for the identification of collection based on available data. The third one is outlier analysis. It can be defined as the information items that do not comply with the general ways or model of the data available. The next one is evolution analysis. Evolution analysis refers to the detailed model regulates or trends for items whose behavior changes over time. The next topic is estimation. Classification deals with distinct outcomes such as debit card, home loan or vehicle financing. Estimation deals with frequently valued outcomes. If the input data is available, estimation can be used to bring up with some continuous variables such as income or height. In estimation, one needs to return up with plausible value or a variety of plausible values for the unknown parameters of a system. Classification and estimation are frequently used together. When data mining is used to predict who respond to a credit card balance transfer, offer, and also to evaluate the size of the balance to be transformed. Estimation is grouped under predictive data mining task. The next topic is segmentation. Segmentation means making various offers to distinct market segments set of people defined by some group of demographic variables such as age, gender or income. The segmentation can be defined as a form of analysis used for the instance break down the visitors to website into single groups with unique behaviors. This grouping can be used to make statistical projections such as the amount of quantity to purchase they are likely to make. Segmentation is grouped under descriptive data mining. The next topic is clustering. Clustering is the task of segmenting a different set into a number of same subgroups or clusters. Clusters of items are formed so that objects within a cluster have high comparison between one another, but are very different to objects in another cluster. Clustering is commonly used to find small groupings within a data set. The different issue between clustering and classification is that in clustering there are not any predefined categories and no examples. The items are combined together based on self-similarity. Clustering is combined under descriptive data mining tasks. The next concept is description and visualization. The aim of data mining is to explain what occurring in a difficult database during increased our understanding of the people, products or processes that produced the data in the initial place. It states that a good explanation of behavior will often suggest a description for it as well. The most important forms of descriptive data mining are data visualization. Even though the visualization is not easy always, the one picture can really speak 1,000 words, since humans can extremely practice at producing meaning from visual scenes. Visualization may be useful in obtaining a visual representation of the places and communication of a company's clients on a map of a city or a province or even a country. Allowing the visualization of introduced patterns in various forms can help users with the different scenario. The next topic is data mining task primitives. It can specify a data mining task in the form of a data mining query. The input to the system is query. The data mining query is defined in terms of data mining task primitives. These primitives allow us to distribute in an interactive way with the data mining system. The data mining task primitives are: the first one is group of task relevant data to be mined. The second one is kind of data to be mined. The third one is background knowledge to be used in new process. The fourth one is interestingness measures and thresholds for pattern execution. And the fifth one is representations for visualizing the new patterns. The user is interested in the following database, which includes database attributes, data warehouse dimensions of interest. The next concept is database attributes. The data mining usually deals about knowledge discovery from the data. To get knowledge about the data, it is needed to discuss about the data objects, the data attributes and the types of data attributes. Mining data includes knowledge about data, mapping between the data. The data objects are the main part of the database. A data item represents the entity. Data objects are like groups of attributes of an entity. For instance, a sales data object may denote customer, sales or purchases. The list of data objects in a database are called data tuples. The next concept is attribute. The data field can be representing characteristics of features of a data object. For a user, object attributes can be customer ID, address, etc. The group of attributes is used to describe a given object, which is called as attribute vector or a feature vector. The next concept is the types of attributes. The first step of data pre-processing can be differentiate between different types of attributes and then pre-process the data. So the description of attributes types are given here. The first one is qualitative and the second one is quantitative. The qualitative attribute is further divided into three types. They are nominal, ordinal and binary. The last type, binary, is divided into two types. They are symmetric and asymmetric. On the other hand, the quantitative attribute is divided into two types. They are discrete and continuous. Let us see about the nominal attribute. The nominal attribute is related to names. The nominal attribute values are names of the things, types of symbols. For example, let us see the attribute colors. It has the values black, brown, white. Similarly, let us see the attribute categorical data. It has the values lecturer and professor. And similarly, there is another attribute called as gender, where the values are male and female. For example, next attribute, let us see the cancer detected. The values are yes or no. And finally, the attribute is result, where the values are pass and fail. The next type of qualitative attribute is binary attribute. A binary data has only two values or states. It is either true or false. Let us consider an example. The name of the attribute is gender, where it has only two values, male and female. The next attribute is result. It has only two values, either pass or fail. So these are the examples of binary attribute. The next one is symmetric attribute. Symmetric attribute has a property of both the values are equally important. For example, gender. The next one is asymmetric attribute. Both the values are not equally important. For example, result. The next type of qualitative attribute is ordinal attribute. The ordinal attributes contains sequence of values or ranking among them. The order of values that display how it is important. For example, let us consider an attribute grade. It has different values such as A, B, C, D, E, F. And let us consider one other attribute called as basic pay scale. The values might be 16, 17, 18 and so on. The next type of attribute is quantitative attribute. The first subtype is numeric. It is a measurable quantity which is represented in integer or real values. Numerical attributes has two types, interval and ratio. The next type is an interval scale differences values are interpretable, but in the numerical attributes do not have the exact reference point, or it can call as 0 point. Data can be added and subtracted at interval scale but cannot be multiplied or divided. A ratio scale is a numeric attribute with a fixed 0 point. If a measurement is ratio scaled, the value as being a multiple of another value. The value is in order and it can also compute the difference between values, and the mean, median, mode, quantile range and 5-number summary can be given. The next type is discrete. Discrete data or finite values, it can be numerical and it can be in distinguished form. These attributes has finite or countable infinite set of values. For example, the attribute may be profession and the value of the attributes may be teacher, businessman and peon. The next example is zip code. The values are any two values such as 301, 701, 110040. These might be the values. The next type of attribute is continuous. The continuous data have infinite number of values. For example, the attribute height will have the values such as 5.4, 6.2 and so on. The attribute weight may have the values such as 50.33 etc. The next concept is data warehouse dimensions of interest. A data dimension is a group of data attributes to something of interest to a business. Dimensions are items like customers, products, stores and time. Data warehouses uses the data dimensions as initial points to numeric facts that a business wishes to monitor. The next concept is dimensional model. The kind of functions can be referred to be performed. The functions are characterization, discrimination, association and correlation analysis, classification, prediction, clustering, outlier analysis, and the last one is evolution analysis. The background knowledge. The background knowledge allows us to be mined at various levels of abstraction. For instance, the hierarchy concepts are one of the background knowledge. The process of knowledge discovery is used to evaluate patterns. There are various interesting measures for different ways of knowledge. Representation for visualizing the discovered patterns. The discovered patterns are to be displayed by referring the visualization. These representations may include the following: rules, tables, charts, graphs, decision trees and cubes. The conclusion: the process of collecting, searching through and analyzing a large amount of data in a database as to discover the patterns or relationships. The extraction of useful patterns from data sources, for example, the databases, the data warehouse and web. The patterns must be valid, novel, potentially useful and understandable. Abstraction or generalization of data resulting in a smaller set which gives general overview of the data. Alternatively, summary type information can be derived from data. Thank you.